Series racing from Phoenix on TNT. Yeah, I know it's supposed to be the Valley of the Sun, but you see those little dots on the camera lens there? They had a stray shower that's peppered this racetrack on and off throughout the day. It's gone away now, and the car's rolling onto the track, and we expect to see the green flag after just 3 pace laps from now. Starting lineup for today's race, Kevin Harvick on the pole, going for the triple this weekend. Won the Truck Series race here yesterday. He's in the Busch and Winston Cup Series races today and tomorrow. See what happens. And, of course, Greg Biffle, winner of 2 of the last 3 Busch Series races. Back in row 3, a couple of the championship contenders, David Green and Brian Vickers.
I think most eyes will be on row 3 when this race starts today.
We'll look down through the rest of the starting grid for today's race. We've got Ricky Craven here alongside Benny and I in the booth, so that means Wally is in his race car.
On the racetrack. Let's try to check and talk to him. Wally Dallenbach, Benny Parsons, you got me?
Got you, BP.
All right, you know that little bet we got. You got to finish in the top 5 tomorrow, this race today, or the race at Homestead. If you finish the top 5, I have to wash your car. How are things looking for me washing your car in Daytona Beach?
I'll tell you what, after happy hour yesterday, I was pretty happy. So, looks like you may be washing my car at Daytona. We'll have to see. Car's real good on long runs. I just hope we don't get caught up in any wrecks before we get this thing strung out a little bit.
Well, see, that's my ace in the hole. You see, you're starting way back. Always concerned about an accident when you start back there, buddy.
Catch all that, BP. I know we got a lot of cars to pass, but I think we've got a good race car today. We'll get there.
All right, Wally, thanks. Good luck to you.
Wally starting back pretty deep in the field, 29th spot after scrubbing the wall a little bit on his qualifying lap. A lot of drivers here to try and qualify, 52 to make the 43 starting spots, and those the drivers unable to be in today's 200-mile race. Well, the race has begun under the green and yellow flags as the track is damp here at Phoenix International Raceway, and Kevin Harvick and Greg Biffle continue to follow the pace car around. And Greg Biffle is going to get penalized for jumping the start. Wow. 7 car will be penalized for jumping the start from the outside of the front row.
Still on the board to come in.
And David Stremme in the 1 going after the lead on Harvick.
And you know, maybe that's a little bit of that having waited around for 2.5 hours and I'm just ready to go.
Too ready to go. Harvick does maintain the lead in the 21 car. Meanwhile, Biffle is hung on the outside as Bobby Hamilton Jr. 25 goes by.
It's going to be difficult for Greg Biffle under these circumstances. He's going to be penalized to come to pit road on a pit road that really isn't dry.
And it's long,
next time, buddy.
And the pit road is slow, and he's going to probably lose a lap.
My guess is he will lose a lap.
These are tough circumstances, dude.
And the thing, he's got to be careful not to speed down pit road because here goes Stremme for the lead. The 1 car underneath Harvick takes the lead.
While Greg Biffle comes to pit road to serve his penalty, that's Eric Phillips on top of the pit box, the crew chief for Greg Biffle. And side by side for the lead, Stremme in the 1, Harvick in the 21, and Hamilton Jr. closing in the 25. Dave?
Greg has served his penalty. His spotter came on the radio right after the green. He said they're posting you for jumping the start, but you didn't move till the green came out. Obviously, they would disagree with NASCAR's call on that.
He's better get hustling up. He's going to stay on the lead lap if he can get going and keep in front of Kevin Harvick right now. And if he gets a caution, then he comes back around.
To the rear of the field, then he's got only has 42 other cars to worry about.
Well, he'll get everything there is to get out of the car. I mean, Greg really runs hard. He does a great job. He's been doing a good job for Joe. Let's see what this car has.
Oh, 21 car got a little bit loose off turn 2. In talking to the guys in the pit area this morning, the garage area, I don't think they want to let that 25 car get in front because he is wicked fast.
He certainly sounded it in his interview. He had a lot of confidence. He's looking like he's got a lot of confidence.
Hamilton Jr. working on Harvick for the race lead, while Greg Biffle runs just in front of them.
Although he didn't steam down in the corner. He actually rolled out early, and he's sticking to the bottom. So he's really running good through the middle and off the corner. But a little light getting in.
And that outside, you get such a good run. The momentum, you're able to carry the momentum off the corner, and that's why the 21 Harvick able to maintain the lead.
Yeah, I think what you see this first run on a clean track will be completely different than what you see when they make their first stop once we get some rubber into the racetrack. Kevin's out there running.
He's hanging right there.
This second and a half groove.
Yep.
Well, it's a clean track and you can get away with that. I'm not sure you're going to be able to when the rubber starts building up.
Jr. still with the pressure. Ooh, a little look inside there with Stremme.
And that 21 car is loose. So in that time up between 1 and 2, looked like he had his hands full. Yesterday, the 21 car, Kevin Harvick won the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and I watched those first few laps of the truck race, and he ran extremely high. I was really amazed how well he ran up on the high groove.
Now, this is the start, or the restart there a minute ago, with Biffle and Kevin Harvick. And from race control, they were treating this as under the rules of the original start of the race.
And you can't beat the pole sitter to the start-finish line.
And that makes it clear, doesn't it?
So Biffle did, and that was why he was penalized. So now Biffle back in 40th position, basically a mile behind the race leader, as Harvick has managed to fend off the challenge from Hamilton Jr. and Stremme for now. Those are the top three. Then Brian Vickers in 4th, Scott Riggs in 5th, Mike Bliss in 6th, David Green 7th, followed by Casey Kane, Casey Atwood, and then the 10th place car looks like Johnny Sauter, who's moved up smartly here in the opening laps.
I talked about this 21 car being loose. We've got an animation that will show you as you go inside our TNT garage what we're talking about. When everything is working perfectly, the tires, all 4 tires are working the same. But when the rear tires get hotter than the front, the back end starts sliding out just like you're on ice. And that's what the car looks like going through the corner, back and forth, as a driver tries to maintain control.
Yeah, the rear tires get hotter because they're sliding. The question is, why are they sliding? And that's always a balance issue. And watching the 21 car, I believe the reason that Kevin's driving the higher line is because he's not only free through the middle and off, but he's free getting in. So he'll drive in the corner straight. He's real uneasy about turning the wheel. And he's running high from the middle off because that's where he starts. He starts out high.
Brian Vickers taking 3rd spot from David Stremme. So Vickers the farthest up of the championship contenders early here in Phoenix. Checking out Brian Vickers, running back in 3rd spot now, 3 1/3 seconds behind leader Kevin Harvick, with Bobby Hamilton Jr. running in between them in 2nd. Championship standings as they run, BP.
Scott Riggs, the 10 car, will have gone to the front. Vickers from 5th to 2nd. Green from the lead back to 3rd. Hornaday, Keller. Now Keller is 70 points behind as they run.
Of course, Brian Vickers losing the Busch Series championship lead after a tough weekend at Atlanta last Saturday. And we talked with him yesterday about strategy to try and get that top spot back, or what his thinking was going into these final 3 races.
That whole day, that's just one I want to forget about and put behind us. You know, the GMAC team did the best they could, and just wasn't our day. Seemed like whoever's leading the points championship over has got horrible luck. So here we are. You know, we proved that this points battle is tight enough to go from 1st to 5th in 1 week. Now hopefully we can go from 5th to 1st. But we're going to do the best we can. We're not going to give up.
That's good attitude.
The young man's got a great attitude, and I've been thinking a little bit about him. You know, he's very impressive as a race car driver, but he's a lot of credit should go out to his parents. I mean, he must have wonderful parents. They've done a great job with him because he handles himself so well. And a good example of that was the situation in Texas where, you know, being that young, having your first win within within arm's reach and the circumstances around it, he handled that very well. He didn't handle it like a 20-year-old, or he handled it very well.
Talking about basically when he was penalized for being in the act of passing on a restart. When he got up alongside another car, though, had not gone around him yet.
Kind of like Greg Biffle on the start of the race. I mean, something similar to that, although, we got to span up in 3 and 4.
One on the wall. Tammy Jo Kirk.
Caution is out. Caution is out. He's up against the wall. Just be careful over there. Fan on.
And the first yellow flag, well, second yellow flag. I got to get that rain caution flag in my mind there. Second yellow flag is out in this race. Out at a quarter distance, and that'll bring everybody to pit road here in a minute. And the month of difficulties for Tammy Jo Kirk continues. A lot of engine problems in the last month. It caused her to be watching more than participating when the checkered flag waves at the end of these races.
She needs to take a couple of Advil. Call us in the morning. Just goes in on the outside and gets her loose. Meanwhile, green flag, back to racing.
It's going to be interesting to see who benefited from the changes, the adjustments to the cars. Obviously, David Green had to have some help, Jason Keller, but the two cars that I thought looked the best were both Vickers and Riggs on the long run, and it'll be interesting to watch them now.
They are in 3rd and 4th behind Kevin Harvick and Bobby Hamilton Jr. Matt Kenseth, right side tires only on his pit stop. He's up to 5th. Marty?
That was 2 tires on that stop. Now, you don't think they'd try that for tomorrow, an experiment, do you?
I do, Marty.
They would never do that, BB. Come on now.
Hey.
I think that's a little bit of experimentation for tomorrow just to see how that will work. But right now, Bobby Hamilton's trying to experiment with a lead, isn't he?
Yes, he is, trying to get underneath the 21 car. Harvick runs so well high, but Marty, I think that was a terrific idea that Robbie Reiser and the guys had on the 17 car. Try it today, see how it works, and whether or not they'll want to do it tomorrow, because tomorrow they're starting back 37.
Tell you what, Hamilton Jr. has been under Kevin Harvick a couple times and just can't get by him. Kevin's really able to use that outside lane. Now let's see if Vickers can put any pressure on Hamilton Jr.
Car is not as fast as the 25 car on the bottom of the racetrack, but when he moves up high and takes that outside lane away from the 25, he's pretty doggone fast.
Yeah, he is, and he actually, he looks a lot like he did at the beginning of the race on low air pressure. Once the tires built, and he could stretch it out a little bit, but I wouldn't assume that he's just going to go backwards here. I think once the pressure's built up, he'll be okay, but there's no question he can't run the bottom like the 25 or the 5.
So Hamilton Jr. goes to the point. There's Bobby Hamilton, former NASCAR Winston Cup winner here at Phoenix, ran the Craftsman Truck Series race here yesterday. And looking on as his son races here in pursuit of a Phoenix victory for the Renzi Motorsports team.
And that would be Stephanie, Bobby's wife, as she watches him go by. Well, there we see Wally right behind these. Oh my goodness, the 16 car of Larry Gunzelman did not get going on the restart, and Wally gets into him just a little bit down in 1.
And 2.
And 2. And again. Old Faithful is on pit road.
Not too good.
And all that was caused by that bump in the back of the 16 car that knocked that grill in.
We may have a hole or it's blocked. This thing may be hurt. Let's cut it off.
So Wally's got problems, and his day will come up well shy of the finish, it looks like, here at Phoenix. Dave?
Yeah, and Mr. Clean did a good job of holding the signboard here for him, but that may be the end of his day as they go underneath. But, you know, I was watching the replay, guys. The 16 really had a problem. It was just trying to get down to the low line out of the way, right?
16 car was just very defensive getting into turn 1. Had a car to the outside of him. Probably didn't know Wally was coming to the inside of him. And You just got a little bump there. And there's so many ways to lose at this game, aren't there? I mean, mechanically and strategy. I mean, just a little bump like that results in the thing overheating.
Here's what happened when he gets in the back of Billy Boat. I'm sure that's what caused the grill problems.
Yeah, I don't think it was on the 16. I think it was that one right there.
Well, I'm showing my rookie stripe, aren't I?
That's okay.
You're doing okay.
And Benny's on it, though. He's pretty impressive.
He's the professor. Bobby Hamilton Jr. out in front by now 1.2 seconds after he got around Kevin Harvick. He moved away from him. Gave himself a little gap. Brian Vickers now 2.5 seconds back in third. How about Harvick there, Matty?
Kevin Harvick continues to change lines. He says the car just wants to snap sideways. His crew chief, Busch speculated they might be too low on air pressure starting out the run. Remember, we told you on that stop, they did go down on the pressures on the right front and both rears. And if we were on the dirt at Manzanita about 5 laps ago, he would have been up near the cushion. He was running so high.
When they complete this lap, we will be halfway through this race, which means it's an official event. If the weather should interfere again somewhere down there and NASCAR can't get the race restarted before dark, which is going to be unlikely if the weather should re-interfere, then it could be called at that point. It looks like we're going to be good to go to the scheduled conclusion. But just joining us, we had a 2-hour, 20-minute rain delay here in the desert earlier this afternoon.
Go figure. It rained in the desert, and right now it's raining on Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s parade as he loses the lead. Harvick 21 goes, oh, we got a spinner. Oh,
Silver cautions out.
30-car Billy Moat, a driver out of the Indy Racing League, making his NASCAR Busch Series debut here at Phoenix. He lives here in the Phoenix area. Said he had a local area sponsor, asked him if he wanted to do the race. He said, absolutely, I'd love to try it.
I saw some bad news. I saw the sun going down in turn 1 a little bit. Ooh, that could be a problem later on. We'll see. Maybe not.
Bad news in terms of visibility?
Visibility, yes.
Okay.
There's David Green. Boy, he wanted to see this. He had fallen back to 21st. See what happened to Billy Boat. Oh, he had a little help there from the 43 car.
Whoa.
The 43 car almost became involved.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. leads. Stacy Compton second. Did get just 2 tires on his pit stop, up from 11th to the runner-up spot. Brian Vickers third. Kevin Harvick fourth. Scott Riggs fifth. And Ron Hornaday, Joe Nemechek, Tony Raines, Jason Leffler, who got 2 tires on his stop, and Johnny Sauter.
And Riggs just gets by the 21 car, puts Harvick back to 5th.
The same struggles. The car doesn't take off early, and if there's a caution late in the race, then he's gonna have a hard time winning the race. Even losing these spots is that's a deficit that's going to be hard to overcome because the track still hasn't given some really good side-by-side racing, not like I expected.
Right now, Kevin Harvick's 21 car, he needs for this race to go green the rest of the day.
You're exactly right.
Then he's got a shot. A couple more caution flags will take him right out of the win.
But if it goes green the rest of the way, he might not have enough fuel to make it to the checkered flag.
Oh, darn. Matt, what about it?
Benny, he might want one more caution at this juncture. Butch Hilton told me they are 3 to 4 laps short of making it. And he also told me this morning that they have gotten the worst fuel mileage all year here this weekend. He says they're making great power, and Kevin's really in the gas, and it's costing them on fuel mileage. But boy, that HP, once he can get out front, certainly helps.
For second place, Brian Vickers on Stacy Compton. Remember, Compton with just 2 tires on his pit stop. Vickers got 4.
When Brian Vickers used all the brakes, all the parachute, everything he had to try to stop that car going down in turn 1. So he did not go and make contact with the 59, and he succeeded.
It's also another example of 2 tires not working.
So Compton now challenged by Scott Riggs for third.
Now you are paying attention for tomorrow, aren't you, Ricky?
Oh, believe me, I am. I'm not here to make a big contribution. You guys are too good for that, but I am here to observe and see if we can help the Tide Pontiac. And I know somewhere in the Super 8, the guys are working hard, like they always do, on strategy for tomorrow in the Tide Pontiac.
Got the notebook out, and they're hashing it all out.
So 2 tires, not the way to go, what we've seen so far, is it?
No, and it's obviously here, the car's got to turn. The greatest challenge, seems like everybody's struggling with being tight. 2 tires just won't give you the grip.
Here's what's puzzling about that to me, though. Last year's Winston Cup race here, Matt Kenseth took 2 tires on his last stop and pulled away and won. What's changed from last year? I mean, the tire's the same, right? Track surface hasn't deteriorated that much, has it?
Don't know.
Wouldn't think, but and maybe that's the difference between today's race and tomorrow's race. But I can't believe that 2 tires will be an advantage. I can't believe that.
Yeah. On board with Joe Nemechek, the 87 car. Obviously, he's been able to beat that left front fender out where he knocked it in on the tire earlier in the race.
Nemechek running 7th. Tony Raines behind him, putting some pressure on there in the 33 car. Tell you what, 3 of the 5 championship contenders running up front. 2 of them kind of struggling. Middle field, Brian Vickers 2nd, Scott Riggs 3rd, Ron Hornaday 6th, while David Green is 20th and Jason Keller is 17th.
Well, until the race is over, Matt, David Green's your championship leader. Probably will not be by the end of the day. Currently in 20th, as you see, it has been an absolute struggle day for those guys. Still loose in, tight in the middle, loose off. Last time they did air pressure, wedge, and track bar, and it hasn't helped yet. They're still struggling with the 37 car right now, Alan.
It's a lot of work to have it not get any better. And championship standings as they run. Scott Riggs started today 2nd. At this point, he would take over the championship lead. David Green would fall from 1st to 4th. Wow. 2 races to go.
And not only 4th, but 44 points out of 1st. Beautiful sunset in the Valley of the Sun.
Finally, after rain showers and overcast and cool conditions earlier today, get your post that one.
You can see it's obviously getting dark, and that's not going to be a problem as long as your windshield's in decent condition. But if your windshield's covered up and it's pitted from debris from the rocks, that becomes a challenge.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. is the leader by 1.4 seconds over Kevin Harvick, so he's lost 0.6 of a second to the 21 car in these last 10 laps or so. Dave?
And Alan, he's been talking to his crew, wondering what the lap times are on the 21 car. And Ricky, I guess that's just because he needs to know exactly what he needs to do to keep the 21 back there.
Yeah, he knows he's coming, and it's got to be some. Going to be some consideration, I would think, to the dark light. If we're able to finish this.
My guess is that Hamilton Jr. says, "What's the 21 car running? How fast is he running?" And then if he's outrunning the 25, where's he running? Can I move around? You think I can find a little bit faster groove?
As for 4th place there, as Scott Riggs and Joe Nemechek went at it, we checked the interval again. From Hamilton Jr. to Kevin Harvick, and now dip back to that race for 4th once more as Nemechek now going to try Riggs.
And you see that time Vickers in 3rd place was the fastest car.
And Ron Hornaday in the 2 joining in on this fight for position.
Now Ricky Childress would love to get that 2 car up there and let Hornaday win the driver championship and the 21 car win the owner's championship, but both cars would come out of Richard Childress racing.
Well, that would be very impressive, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
To win the title with 2 different teams.
And very, very doable on the part of Hornaday at this point. Nemechek really hanging it out there.
Joe's been racing that way this entire segment, and he's getting it done. He's climbed his way to 4th, and he hasn't done it the easy way. You see, he's using that apron to help turn the car. That part of the racetrack's flatter, and he can actually get the front to just work a little better. I've noticed that Bobby Hamilton Jr. is doing the same thing. The longer they run, he seems to take more and more of the apron, and Harvick doesn't have to, and that's where he's beating him. The car just seems to be freer over the long run, and Hamilton's car perhaps gets a little tighter and a little slower.
Hornaday working Riggs over for 5th place. A couple of the championship contenders here. Ron Hornaday, 4th place finish in 2001. His best Phoenix NASCAR Busch Series finish.
Riggs in that 10 car was really using that apron going in turn 3 to try to get the Nesquik car to turn.
Well, you can tell some of these guys are struggling right now, but there's still a lot of laps to run on this set of tires. You know, if they have a chance to go to the end, it seems
it's a long way.
It really does.
Now, they did a similar thing last year. I started to mention this before. Last year's race, final caution flag came out and they pitted with 103 laps to go. And I shouldn't say the final caution. The final pit stops were made. Last year, they were only allowed to change 2 sets of tires under caution. This year, NASCAR's allowed them an extra set under caution because they were as concerned as some of the teams were about putting that final set on and running 100 miles here at Phoenix with no backup plan. So I talked with Busch Series Director Brian Dehart this morning. That's why they've given the teams that 3rd set. So if we get a caution, we will see another round of pit stops and everybody will be firing tires at their race cars. But if not, then it's a matter of who's got fuel to the finish.
Right.
And when does the caution flag come out? Right now we have 27 cars on the lead lap. The caution flag should come out right now. Some of those guys might choose to stay on the speedway.
Hornaday has had a year kind of like Matt Kenseth a little bit. He has not been spectacular. He's got 1 win. That came back at Nazareth in May. But he just keeps firing off those 3rd to 9th place finishes week after week after week. He hasn't fallen out of a race this year. In fact, he's finished all but 29 laps possible in this season so far out of 6,091.
You know, it seems like the advantage goes to the quiet guy in this championship hunt because the drivers who have made the most noise are the ones that have also had some of the greatest challenges or setbacks. And you make a great point. You know, Ron hasn't gotten the attention he deserves, but he's going to if he keeps doing this.
Dave, how about that 2 car?
Well, and I guess he wins the championship then because he has said 0 on the radio since that last restart.
Well, 1.4 seconds is down to 0.19. Harvick's caught him. Matty?
He is definitely moving in to try to make that move on the bottom. A lot of conversation between Will Lynn, who kind of oversees this whole Busch program with the 2 and the 21, and Gucci Butch Hilton. They are still a little short. Busch feels like, though, they are going to roll the dice. They have a huge lead in that Cardinals championship chase, and at this juncture, they're looking at rolling the dice and going to go the distance.
So with 4 laps to go, the answer is no, we're not going to stop.
You had to believe that.
Keep hollering at him.
That's Delana Harvick, Kevin's wife.
Betty, go hard.
Are they talking about weather? Is that what Delana was motioning at there? Matty?
What she was motioning the Gucci Butch Hilton, we are feeling sprinkles down on pit road. You can see the pavement is littered with small drops, so it is starting to sprinkle. Not a lot, but a little.
No wonder Stephanie, Bobby's wife, is getting so excited. And we see a couple of drops on our camera lens. And the sun's out.
This is weird. Yeah, this is weird.
It's been that kind of day.
Yeah. Hey, it rained in the desert. What more do you have to say?
You the man now. You just keep after now.
Bobby's changed his line down in turn 1 and 2, and it's sort of accommodated him in whatever problems he was having, and he stretched it out because that wasn't his strength early on. He was getting it done on the very bottom.
See the 55 car right in front of Bobby Hamilton, Paul Menard, gassed over this morning to Bobby that Andy Petrie is going to field a car in the NASCAR Busch Series for the next 3 years for this Paul Menard.
Well, hey, that's great news for Andy. He deserves it.
39 laps to go. Bobby Hamilton Jr. thus far able to hold off Kevin Harvick trying to get a win at Phoenix.
There goes Hornaday. He's already gained 1 spot, which is typical for him. He's
up and around
Nemechek
in the 87, yeah. And Harvick starting to work Hamilton Jr. over. Remember, Harvick's MO all day long has been the longer they ran, the better he was. Hamilton Jr. better in the shorter run. This time, though, instead of being on fresh tires, they're on older tires, and they're starting that pattern again.
Now, Nemechek is back on the inside of Hornaday for the 4th position as we watch these two guys try to battle for the lead. There's Nemechek, the 87 car.
Stacy Compton's car retired from the race with the crash damage of a minute ago. How about Joe Nemechek, Marty?
Best it's been all day. That's what Brian Patty, the crew chief, just told me a moment ago about Joe Nemechek's race car. Has a little right front fender damage to go along with the left front fender damage he got earlier, but the more fender damage he gets, the better his car seems to run as it starts to rain again, Alan.
Oh, man.
Okay. And Scott Riggs on the inside of Hornaday to try and take that spot from him.
And here comes Wimmer, the 23 car. So Hornaday has got to run as hard as he can to try to stay in front because all these guys on the inside, this is 4th position.
And are we going to make it those final 16 laps of the checkered flag before the rain? NASCAR Race Control checking with the spotters they have around various parts of the track. Caution is coming out. Caution for rain as Bobby Hamilton Jr. comes off of turn 4. And of course the field frozen as soon as the caution flag comes out. So all these guys charging back.
Pretty good.
Come on, rain, she said.
Well, that turned out to be a good decision for some of those guys that stayed out. Of course, all of the guys up front, but for David Green, it was, hey, that's why he's the crew chief.
He picked up 4 spots.
Made a
4
great
or 5
decision.
spots. Yeah,
He was 19th. He's running 16th right now. So
4 spots. Jason, way to go.
And all, but I'm just kind of keep tearing up a damn race car.
Well, we'll see what happens here as far as how heavy the precipitation is and if they keep him out there or if this is going to be it.
Raining pretty hard, 22.
See, right now, there it is, a beautiful sky, and it's raining. Go figure.
And as they run the championship standings, Scott Riggs will take over the point lead with 2 races to go. David Green will fall 22 points back in 4th. And Jason Keller
Goes from 44 back to 60 back.
Yeah.
It's just incredible, isn't it?
It is.
Vickers running 3rd, Riggs running 6th, Hornaday 5th. And actually, David Green is going to end up another spot farther. No, he's going to be 16th. Is that what I said before? Yeah, they're just adjusting the order as they check where they were when the caution came out. So, the reports from around the racetrack are that the raindrops are peppering just enough that the yellow flag will remain out. Question is, how much longer will the yellow flag remain out before the checkered flag is shown?
Not much longer because we're running out of darkness fast.
Oh, we're not running out of darkness.
It's raining pretty good over here.
We're running out of daylight. You had
Running out of daylight, yeah, exactly.
You had a yogi moment.
I did, didn't I?
I don't feel bad, Benny. I've kind of felt that way all day.
How about your little TV experience here?
Well, I gotta confess to you that 90% of the time I was up here watching the race, forgetting what I was supposed to be doing, and
you forgot you're supposed to talk, huh?
Yeah, you know that's never been a problem for me in the past. But sitting, being the meat in the sandwich here between you guys, it's hard to get a word in.
I know.
Besides that, you're good at it. So
you're making Wally very happy right now. Well, we appreciate you coming up to do this and hanging in through the rain delay.
It was a lot of fun, guys. Thanks a lot. Have fun tomorrow. Enjoy it.
And you have fun tomorrow, too.
All the way around.
In the Tide ride. And now we're waiting to see what happens.
We're going to give the 12 cars lap back.
Yeah, the lucky dog, Timmy Fedor. Last caution before this one for rain came out when Stacy Compton was tangled up with Casey Kane and crashed in the backstretch. Marty?
With a very wrecked race car in the Busch Series garage, what happened on the accident, Stacy?
It's just people out there you can race with and people you can't race with. And we've had a couple times that we haven't been able to race with one car out there. And it's a shame. Kingsford Johnsonville Chevrolet was really good. I mean, we took 2 tires, and once everybody leveled out, we had a good race car and on the way to a top 5. And ain't meant to be today, but we got 2 more races.
Containing his feelings very well. Obviously feels like the penalty for Casey Kane, and you see the accident there was very justified.
So Stacy's opinion there, and Casey Kane, again, having been held a lap for rough driving by NASCAR, still out on the racetrack in 27th place. Communication back and forth. NASCAR race control to pace car driver Dennis Dillard. And Dennis says it's still raining. What a shame. I mean, good that they got it in. The logistical nightmare that this would have been if they had to have this race on Monday with these teams needing to be in Rockingham on Thursday. And you know, Busch Series teams don't have the 150 employees like some of these Winston Cup teams do that are back at the shop getting things ready while they're out here racing. A lot of these teams, the guys have to go back cross country, get to the shop, and get things finished up to go to Rockingham and then right on to Homestead for that whole week of testing that leads up to Ford Championship weekend.
Because they'll be testing on Tuesday.
Tuesday, yep.
Can you see the racetrack no more?
There you go,
What I just said.
Is that Hamilton Jr.? Yeah.
Well, he's got the best visibility, you know, being out front. It's obviously we're to a point where it's probably going to be hard to get the track back.
And
when the pace car has the windshield wipers on.
And his headlights.
And his headlights. That's a bad sign.
And the thing for Hamilton Jr., while we were focusing on some of the air strategies and where the championship guys were, in those few laps of racing from that restart, Hamilton Jr. had gotten away enough from Harvick that unless something drastically changed, I'm not sure that the outcome would be different here.
Yeah, and you know what? It's justified. The 25 car was exceptional. He could run on the bottom. The first 50 laps of each run, he was very strong.
You come into the white,
he deserves to win the race.
You come into the white,
and
come to that
the white flag will be shown when Bobby Hamilton Jr. brings the field to the start-finish line. The rain and the darkness closing in, going to cause this race to be stopped short 9 laps and 9 miles of its scheduled conclusion. And so for Bobby Hamilton Jr., just another lap around under the yellow flag for his 4th win of 2003.
But remember, all these cars still have to run this last lap.
Which should be no problem fuel-wise.
There shouldn't be any problem at all, but hope everyone remembers not to pull off.
Yeah.
Marines on pit road today. Y'all the man.
Harold Hawley giving his pit crew a boost. Tell you what, they got him the boost there on that last set of pit stops, didn't they?
That nobody gets. They never get the attention because they beat so many cars off pit road. They only get attention if they had a bad stop, because everybody's just that good. But I know I'm fortunate. I got an outstanding tie team.
Go to another place.
And
now
the
be
leading
careful,
winner in the
it's wet.
NASCAR Busch Series in 2003 becomes Bobby Hamilton Jr. Series leading 4th win of the season. Rain shortened, darkness shortened. Hamilton Jr. the winner in the Bashas' 200 at Phoenix.
Tell me, that last run when you were pulling away from Kevin Harvick there, change your line or what, or just get on it?
No, I was waiting around trying to save tires. If anybody was listening, no, I'm not lying. I was saving tires. They said 21 is second, and then he started catching, and I just started driving as hard as I could, and the thing just stayed under me all day long. Then when the rain came out, we got the green again. I drove for all it's worth and was gone. I mean, I don't know if he could have got me or not, but it was a heck of a race. But right now I'm in victory lane. I'm loving it.
You lead this series now with 4 wins this year. What do you think of that?
That's can't wait till next year. You ain't seen nothing yet. We Marines have signed on Timberland Pro Series. Everybody that's involved in Team Renzi. And the cool thing it is, my dad won his first race here. I won. We're here. We crossed the same checkered flag line. That's cool as hell.
Hamilton Jr., 4th win of the season. Harvick, strong 2nd place finish. Harvick led 3 times for 60 laps, but Hamilton Jr. with 120 laps led today was the dominant leader.
Casey Atwood, a great 8th place finish today.
Ashton Lewis Jr. took tires on that last pit stop, picked himself up about 5 positions in the final sprint to the finish.
Never see David Green back in 16th, Jason Killer 17th. Mike Wallace, Matt Kenseth might have learned a little bit something for tomorrow. Finishes 19th today.
And Tim Fedewa, last one on the lead lap in 24th place. Everybody else a lap or more down, including Casey Kane with the penalty for rough driving, put him back to 27th place at the checkered flag. And among those who failed to finish today,
Stacy
Wally.
Compton, that was a tough break back in 35th. And yes, Wally, 37th position today.
Little overheating problem there with the old Mr. Clean machine out. And Justin Ashburn first out of the race after just a few laps. Now, look at this picture. And look at the guy in 6th.
Yeah, Hamilton Jr.'s moved up just 125 back.
Hey, it's not out of the realm of possibilities the way this thing has gone as well. So Scott Riggs now the championship leader. The point lead has changed hands now after 6 of the last 7 races, and there are 2 to go.